My name is Lorcan Dempsey. Thank you for that extensive introduction earlier, Chris. I am going to talk a little bit now about OCLC. At this event, we don't have a lot of OCLC presentations. We very much want to take the opportunity to bring in voices like the one that we've just heard, and also to give you, our members, an opportunity to present about your work and share experiences. So we are going to take a little while now, maybe, just to give an overview of OCLC. I need to apologize. Unfortunately, I cannot be here tomorrow, which is a cause of deep regret, given how well things have gone today, and given what we've seen and what we've heard. I'm really sorry to be missing those opportunities tomorrow, and I'd like to take the opportunity to thank and congratulate my colleagues on their work working with the Americas Regional Council on this meeting. So thank you very much for that. I was also very taken earlier with Rolf Happel's presentation, which again showed the library as an important part of a community, showed the library as sort of intertwined with the life of a city and able to contribute to the life and growth and vitality of that city. I was also intrigued by his momentary reference to Vikings. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook will have seen that I've just had Ancestry.com results. My children gave me this Christmas, and I couldn't really be bothered to do it, but through family pressure, my brother largely, because he didn't want to spend the money himself, so he said, you have it already, so let's see what you are. And assuming that we have the same parents, I'll be the same as you. So I got back my results and I posted them, and to be honest, they were a huge disappointment. I did think that I'd be part Viking. Dublin, where I grew up, is a Viking city founded by the Vikings. I thought I'd be part French. My mother's name is Butler, which is a Norman name, came over with the Normans. But I was 97% Irish. I mean, what a disappointing result. There should have been something else in there, you would have thought, 97% Irish, and then 3% English and Welsh. It could have been 3% Viking or 3% something else. So anyway, I'm thinking of demanding a refund, I think, or a retrial maybe. But wonderful presentations. Okay, so I thought my corporate photographs made me look too old. So I thought I'd bring back a more age-appropriate one, a more realistic one. This is when I was 98% Irish, but I've been ground down to 97%. So I'm going to talk about OCLC eventually. I have been using this picture. I had to look at consortia a while ago and spent a while thinking and looking at consortia. And it seemed to me very much, if we think about many of the consortia we're familiar with, or in outside of the US, some of the public agencies that do shared activity on the part of libraries, a major activity is scaling capacity, aggregating the infrastructure, aggregating the spending dollars, aggregating the negotiation efforts of libraries, acting at scale to increase the capacity, increase the power that they bring. The other major way in which libraries consort or public agencies work on their behalf is scaling influence, aggregating the voice of libraries, aggregating the influence of libraries and bringing it to bear in various political or advocacy contexts. So scaling capacity and scaling influence are really two important ways and two major ways in which libraries consort and come together. Over the last few years, though, given the rate of change that we've been hearing about, given the ways in which libraries are responding to their environments, and also I think as libraries begin to be more outward-facing as they engage with the communities of which they're a part, scaling learning and scaling innovation have become much more important as well. Libraries need to find ways of learning and learning together so that they can learn more quickly, so that they can actually keep up with the environments of which they're a part, so they can learn from their colleagues, they can pool their uncertainty, they can share best experiences, they can think about directions, they can engage in shared practices, which are the ways in which people learn and move forward. And at the same time, they need to scale innovation, need to think about how to take ideas that work and think about how to adopt them broadly. Think about how to, again, work with each other so that people aren't trying to tackle the same problems in multiple different places at the same time, to actually take something that works, think about how to scale it, to diffuse it, to socialize it, to embed it across the system. So scaling learning, scaling innovation have become much more important. And if you look at the organizations of which you're a part, I think it's increasingly apparent that whether they're involved in scaling influence, whether they're involved in scaling capacity, they're also looking at providing opportunities to learn together, to innovate together. Organizations to scale influence, I just put in ARL, you've got Carl in Canada, you've got ULC, you've got a whole variety of those types of organizations. And in fact, mentioning ULC, quite interesting, I think one of the nice things that they do is the innovation competition that they have, which in a sense is a way of trying to scale innovation. Scaling capacities is very much what OCLC does. If you think about the way in which OCLC works with libraries, it takes the capacity of libraries and scales them at this network level to allow libraries just to get more done. And the way we've done this is we've built a network. We've built a network of libraries. And that's what the slide says as well. So OCLC has built a library network which allows libraries to collaborate at scale to achieve efficiencies of impact. So what we've done is we have provided the infrastructure, the support, the platform that allows libraries to work together at scale. And they work together at scale because they want to achieve efficiencies or they want to achieve impact. So we currently, within OCLC, we have a network of 16,000 libraries, 16,000 members are part of that OCLC network, work in various ways to contribute to and to benefit from the network that we have jointly built. And if you think about the ways in which that network provides value, it provides value because we allow libraries to mobilize the network. We allow libraries to mobilize that shared platform, the contribution, the collaboration of others, to benefit from collective creation of metadata and the shared intellectual investment and knowledge work that that involves. So we allow libraries to together build the knowledge resources, the metadata resources, and to share that effort, and also to share metadata creation generally. And together building WorldCat, which is a view into aggregate library collections, a view into that network. We allow libraries to mobilize this network to share materials more broadly, to share materials globally, to share materials with each other in a variety of ways. And then we allow libraries to mobilize this network to discover what is in that collective library collection. So using WorldCat, you can discover what is available through all of these thousands of libraries worldwide. And then because libraries are the stewards of the world's published knowledge, by extension, that resource, that WorldCat, is in fact a proxy for the world's published knowledge. It itself is a valuable reference resource, a valuable knowledge resource. So we allow libraries to benefit from the collective knowledge work that goes into the creation of our metadata resources. We allow libraries then to share materials broadly, and we allow libraries to discover what is in those library collections, and then by extension to discover what is in the world's published knowledge. And this is, we feel, and we hope you feel, very significant achievement. The network that we've created, within which 16,000 libraries work together, is unparalleled in the library community. What you have is 16,000 libraries working together to get their work done. That level of collaboration, supported by extensive infrastructure, extensive data resources, is without parallel in the library community, and it is unprecedented in the library community. We're now working to enhance the value, well, we continually work to enhance the value of that network, and particular areas that we're working on at the moment, we're providing new tools to enhance bibliographic work with links and with new knowledge tools. Mackenzie Smith will talk about work with linked data later. Several of you have mentioned to me in the course of this meeting that you've been involved in Project Passage, where we've been looking at linked data resources. So we're looking at how we begin to think about letting libraries release the intellectual investment that they have made in that knowledge work and that metadata creation in new ways, and also to carry out that knowledge work in new ways, in ways which are more appropriate for this webby linked world that we're moving into. We also as libraries are beginning to think about their collections in different ways, as some libraries are beginning to manage down their collections, as libraries are beginning to think about managing collections in a more aggregate ways, in more regional ways, thinking about shared print, thinking about the relationship between what's in storage, what's on the shelf, what's digitized. Increasingly people are thinking about that aggregate library resource in new ways, thinking about managing it in new ways, and we provide tools that allow libraries to calibrate their collections and to consolidate their collections in the context of the whole collective resource. So increasingly you can think about your collection and compare it with the consolidated resource. You can calibrate your collection against other collections. You can think about your region, your partners, against this aggregate resource. So because through cataloging, through these other mechanisms for collecting and aggregating data, we now have this composite picture. We have this aggregate picture of library resources. It's a really invaluable resource as people begin to think about managing their print resources in different ways. So we allow people to calibrate and consolidate collections in new ways against that aggregate resource, and we do this in a variety of ways and through Sustainable Collection Services, our service there. So we have built networks, 16,000 members. Libraries derive value in a variety of ways by mobilizing that network to get shared work done. So we allow libraries to collaborate at scale to achieve efficiencies and impact. So that's the global OCLC network. However, we also realize that people want to do lots of work in groups. They want to do lots of work in their region. They want to do lots of work in consortia. They want to do lots of work together. So we also have a variety of services that operate at that group level. And then obviously libraries do work at a local level. The larger part of their activity is local, institutional, based on interacting with their local community to deliver value, to deliver services. So we have been very focused on developing and supporting controlled networks which allow defined groups of libraries to do things together and connect to that global network. And also we provide services that allow libraries to manage operations locally, to extend into local library groups. So the power of the network that we've built extends into library groups, and also for those libraries who want to, those libraries who use our particular systems, to extend into the value, into local communities. And these derive value from and contribute back to the OCLC network. Now we work with local environments of all types, and they benefit from and contribute back to the network. So if you think about groups are control networks for defined library groups. In an OCLC context, we have three major approaches here. One is Syndeo. So Syndeo is the framework within which we provide systems, services, support, which allows controlled metadata management network to be created. And this is largely for national or regional bibliographic infrastructures. This is for those organizations, some national libraries, some national union catalog organizations who want to create a union catalog or a national bibliography within their own region. So a controlled metadata management network. So we have built some services that allow that to happen, and then we synchronize it back to the global data network. We synchronize it back to WorldCat. So we connect this controlled metadata management network to that global network so that we all benefit from the work that is done in that area. The second area where we provide this sort of group functionality is to provide controlled resource sharing networks. So D2D is our service here. So many people in the room are involved in consortial borrowing arrangements, and D2D is a system that helps manage consortial borrowing arrangements, controlled resource sharing network. And then we offer shared library platforms for those people who want to have a controlled library automation network, a group of libraries coming together to share the same library system. We support that through WMS and in the future through WISE. And this includes a controlled discovery network, the ability to discover the resources in that group of libraries who are sharing that library automation platform or that controlled library automation network. So what we have is approaches to building controlled metadata management network. That's Syndeo, largely in use outside the US by national institutions, national union catalog organizations. From the point of view of North America, Library and Archives Canada is a Syndeo user based on WorldShare, WorldCat. D2D, controlled resource sharing network, system service that allows people to create consortial borrowing related thing. And then shared library platform to allow people to share a library system, and associated with that controlled discovery network that allows you to look just at the resources of those library systems. Now, we recognize that the sort of complete value of the network comes from expanding into local library communities, which again derive value from or contribute to the OCLC network. So those libraries using any system can connect to the OCLC network, benefit from the OCLC network, contribute to the OCLC network. But for those libraries who want a closer connection, we have WorldShare management services and WISE. Each of these moves beyond next generation library management system, but they sort of reach out into the library community in various ways. So WMS, WorldShare management services, cloud-based library services platform, and WISE, discussed this morning, really sort of pushing out this idea of community engagement systems. So including within this same systems framework the functions that are required to manage the library together with functions that allow you to interact with the user community in a variety of ways. So putting people at the center of the system rather than putting resources at the center of the system. So that's a sort of overview of how OCLC operates at the global network level, a network of 16,000 libraries work together at scale. We then provide various group solutions for environments where you want a controlled network which connects back to the global network. And then for those people who want to use our services and systems and have that closer connection, we have local services also. So coming back to this, in that way, I think you can see OCLC really scales capacity for libraries, scales collaboration at a very significant level. And in that process, I think creates enormous value for libraries if you think about the amount of effort and resource that's saved, if you think about the reach that libraries have in terms of being able to request materials from elsewhere, if you think about the discovery that's allowed now over aggregate library collections because of that participation in the OCLC network, I think we've created really quite significant value as a community and created a very significant library resource together. Skip mentioned earlier as a culture of OCLC. I mean, many people who work at OCLC are really proud and bought into the fact that we have, together with the library community, created this significant library resource. Scaling learning and innovation is also very important to OCLC because partly of the origin, the way in which it was created. So Kilgore created an organization that was meant to say, or that did say, and in fact it was an initiative of the university presidents. The university presidents said, surely we can do something to improve efficiency within the libraries. So Kilgore came in. But the rationale, the idea was that we can have more impact if we work together, but also not every library can build this type of thing. We have to build it together, and then each individual library can benefit. As part of that founding impulse, he also was very concerned that OCLC was an organization that helped libraries across the range of what they did. So he did initiate research activity. He initiated various other activities that worked alongside some of those core services in the context of advancing libraries generally, in the context of that mission. To work with libraries to improve efficiency, to improve impact, to improve how they did what they need to do. In OCLC, we do have a division now whose mission or purpose is, in fact, to think about accelerating, scaling, library learning and innovation, and collaboration more broadly. This is membership and research. I'm responsible for this division, plus have some planning responsibilities under the strategist title. But the membership and research division at OCLC now, and I've put up several names there, many of which will be familiar to you, is really responsible for thinking about how OCLC scales library learning and innovation within the library community, but also within OCLC, how we manage the interaction between the community and OCLC, how we bring learnings into OCLC, how we work with our developers on linked data, how we work with our product groups on shared print, how we think about what we learn in the context of the environment and bring it internally. And then from a member relations point of view, again, how we think about how to advance Global Council, how to advance regional councils, and how to make the relationship between those and OCLC something that involves a much greater degree of mutual learning, a much greater degree of interaction. And one of the things certainly that we've wanted to do at this meeting and other interactions is to move them to a stage where people feel that these really are important learning opportunities, places where people can come to network and to meet with each other. Thank you.